So first of all, we want to say thanks to Curiosipiens team for letting us be here to make that, to share our knowledge and experience and to move forward, with that idea of culinary arts and pastry arts and whatever is our profession means, and to pass this kind of knowledge to other people. It's a pleasure to be here.
Culinary, pastry, it all comes under the main umbrella of hospitality. Now, hospitality can be divided into 4 different sectors: travel and tourism, food and beverage, entertainment, and lodging and boarding. Under travel and tourism, everything that allows you to travel from one place to another comes under that. And then tourist destinations, when you go to a place, you want to visit a museum, all of that comes under travel and tourism, which comes under hospitality. The second one is accommodation. Now, when you see a hotel, what do you think about? You think about the rooms, the luxury you can get. But hotels can be divided, right? There are luxury hotels, palace hotels like the Taj, which you guys can see. And then there are really simple hotels where you don't have a bathroom, like a pod. In Japan, there are these hotel pods where all you get is a room. You don't even share, like, that's all you get, a small room, and that's it. So the accommodation industry is so large with what you can get, what kind of offerings you can get, and all comes under the hospitality industry sector. Entertainment. Now, if you guys go on holidays or if you're traveling, you want to be entertained while you're traveling, right? Some of the examples are Disneyland, Universal Studios. These come under entertainment. Now it's super closely linked to food and beverage, because without these things, you have to have food and beverage. It's impossible to have like a park without food and beverage options. So everything's really interlinked. And then the final, food and beverage, is what me and Nariman specialize in. Food and beverage, again, is really vast. If you can see, I put a picture of a fine dining dish that would be served at a fine dining restaurant. Then I have fast food, which you can get at a really cheap price. Maybe not so good quality, but really quick. So it depends what you want to do and where you want to dive into.
And now we're going to go really more deeply into the food and beverage and the concepts that you can find. We're going to present 2 concepts. The first one is the fine dining. Just by saying fine dining, we can already understand that it's very refined, it's very clean, it's luxurious. So here's the picture, for example, of a dessert that this is the restaurant where me and Anushka both worked in Paris in a 5-star hotel. So this is a dessert made with strawberries, and there's a lot of respect to the ingredients, and it's presented in a very, very unique, way where you can literally tell a story through a dish. And you can see, for example, the ambience, the atmosphere of the dining room is very luxurious. So these are for example, these are the top points of what a fine dining concept is. For example, you have attention to small details, the guest experience is paramount. The fixed menus are normally a commonplace. There is normally no menus where you can choose your items. Normally, it's a very nicely designed, timed degustation menu where you have like from 5 up to 20 courses. And then always a reservation are required, because all these restaurants normally are sold out for 1-2 months. So you have to do the reservation in advance. The tableware is amazing. As well, the spirits and wine and other beverages are really given a lot of attention to that as well. And as well, normally these kind of restaurants, they start the trends, or they also know them, because like they've been working with the most unique techniques and very good products. So normally these are the restaurants that start the trends worldwide. And the other one is more of the restaurants you can find more or less everywhere with good food and good products. It's called bistronomy. So bistronomy word comes from 2 words, bistro and gastronomy. So bistro in France means a quick-paced restaurant, very, very local, very nicely done, but not as fine as would be a fine dining. And gastronomy meaning that they're using the same techniques and the same approach to quality of the products, quality of the service, like they used to do in fine dining. So you can see the atmosphere is more chill. So again, the gastronomy is the definition. Gastronomy is gastronomical cuisine meets casual dining. So it's something that is classic traditional dishes made in new ways. As well, they follow the concept of local and seasonal produce, so which makes them really sustainable in that way. Then as well, you have a creative freedom as a chef or as a team. And obviously the teams are much smaller. It's not like you have 30 people in the team. You have 5 people, and you be able to actually have the freedom to create, have the freedom to be responsible. And then the atmosphere obviously more friendly, more relaxed, not as intense as could be in fine dining. And as well, the prices are much lower. So to give an example, like a menu in a gastronomical restaurant for starter, main course, and dessert could be around 25, 30 euros, $30, for example. And the fine dining would be around 600, $500. The difference is obviously huge.
So, like I mentioned before, each restaurant, depending on what the concept is, the kitchen will differ. So, the two kitchens I've chosen here, the one on the left is the kitchen at 11 Madison Park. It was rated the world's best restaurant for 3 years, from 2017 to 2020. The one on the right is Alan Ducasse Platz Setene, where Nariman and I had worked there. Both of these restaurants focus on high quality produce, uh, high intensity skills, and every dish that is served is very technical. Now, if you're going to be in a restaurant which has quick service, the quality of produce is not so high because the product you're selling is going to be cheaper. So mostly they don't use really high quality products, and it's always about an organization. For example, if you see a McDonald's kitchen, there's always a flow. You can see that one person's only frying the fries, one person is flipping the burgers. It's all about organization. Now the organization stands from a fine dining restaurant also to a quick restaurant. So you need to have the organization throughout the spectrum, but things change within what you're doing. A little bit about the kitchen hierarchy. At the top of the kitchen is your executive chef. He decides the menu, he decides what's going to be served, he decides if the products are good enough to be served, he decides the seasonal menu, he does the development. But most of the time, they're not in the kitchen, they're just the face of the restaurant, but they don't really cook as much as more than managing. Then you have the head chef. The head chef is the one who's in charge of the kitchen, who's in charge of all the small chefs under him. He tastes all the sauces. He tastes every single meat that's cooked. He makes sure that everything comes on time. They follow hygienic procedures. Under him is the second chef or the sous chef, who you may call. So the sous chef has responsibilities just like the head chef, but he has lesser qualifications, maybe a few years of lesser years in time of experience. Then you have the station chef. So now each kitchen is divided into different stations. So there's the pastry station, there's like the cold appetizer station, there's a hot appetizer station. In India, for example, most kitchens are divided by cuisine because we have multi-cuisine restaurants. So there could be a tandoor station, there could be a Chinese station, there could be a continental station. So it depends on the type of restaurant you have and what kind of stations you need. And then you have the junior cooks who start at the bottom, and obviously after years they go on to be executive chef. Basic skills you need to be a chef. Cleanliness. I mean, cleanliness is so important. You guys know how important it is to have hygienic food, especially in today's world. I mean, hygiene is everything. Attention to detail. You have to pay attention to the small things and make a difference. That will make your dish from good to outstanding. Creativity. We have to be creative. Culinary skill and expertise. Now, I say this because it's really important to have the skills and the knowledge to be able to execute a dish if you have the creativity. Organization. It's very, very important to be organized because a kitchen is all about preparation. You need to be prepared for a certain time when the dish is going to be completed. And lastly, the team player. It's a group. You're always working in a group. You work together with many people. All the hours you spend during your day are in the kitchen. So you have to get along with people. A little bit about the flow of a restaurant. If you guys can see, uh, this is the usual flow of a restaurant. So you select your reliable suppliers who you're going to get your produce from, then you receive it, then you have to store it in a certain way because everything needs to be stored separately. If you're getting seafood, for example, you have to store it on ice. If you're getting dry stocks like rice, then you store it in the dry storage. Then the chef prepares it. He preps everything, keeps it properly. He cooks it. He plates it, serves it, and then obviously the leftovers. That's a really big problem we have in the industry, like managing the waste and the leftovers. So we as chefs have to take responsibility of what we do and how we cook it in order to reduce the waste. Um, Being a part of the industry, you could choose whichever model you want to be a part of. From all of these sections, you could be wherever you want to be. But we have to take into consideration that we are the ones who influence the industry into what we want to do when it comes to wastage and leftovers. So I just thought it was really important to share this with you guys. And a little thing that I go by, 3 S's for success, in my opinion, are sustainability, seasonality, and safety. We have to be learn how to be sustainable. It's the only way forward in our industry. We have a lot of food and a lot of products that can be reused. For example, if you have a fruit, you could use every single part of the fruit to make a cake. Seasonality. Now, this seasonality is a part of sustainability. So when you think about seasonal produce in India, we've been following seasonality forever. But if you go abroad, you get strawberries in the summer, which is we never get strawberries in the summer right here. So we have to try and follow the concept of using seasonal produce in the products we create. And the last thing is safety. Like I mentioned, hygiene and safety is so important. So if you follow these 3 tips in your career path, you will be successful.
So now I think Anushka is going to talk about food and science and how these two are related.
The food and beverage industry is really large, so there are multiple career options for everyone. It's not restricted to being in the kitchen. It could be, like Nariman said, for waste management, like food waste treatment, or how to reuse things, or research and development. I'm going to talk a little bit about science and food and how just the basics of how it's connected. Cooking is a science and an art at the same time. You need the science to make sure that the food you make is going to be at its optimum, but while being creative. So a little bit about taste. We have 5 tastes that we could feel in our body: sweet, salty, acid, bitter, and umami. Sweet, you guys know, it's sugary, it's sweet. Salty again, it you can feel it at the tip of your tongue. You know, when you have something extremely salty. Acid gives freshness to everything, so it's anything that's sour. Bitter was created in our body to detect poison, and that's why a lot of people don't like bitterness and bitter flavors, but it's a flavor that you can really work on to create something really exciting. And umami is a combination of sweet, salty, and savory. For example, in an umami flavor is soy sauce, a lot of ketchup, cheese. Also, temperature makes a big importance to how your food is going to be perceived when you eat it. Our body detects a normal temperature between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. We drink coffee at 50 to 60 degrees Celsius because the temperature is higher. We can't completely taste its pure flavor. If it's between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, it's going to be too bitter for us. So that's why no one drinks coffee at room temperature. So when you're creating a dish, make sure that you have the temperature of the dish that you want to serve at the temperature it should be served at. Aroma. I mean, smell is everything, right? You smell something, you walk into a bakery, you smell someone baking some cookies and you want to eat it. This phenomenon is called orthonasal olfaction. It releases saliva into our tongue, and then we want to eat it. And then when you eat something and you chew it, the molecules travel all the way up to your nose, and this is called retronasal olfaction. So the science of smelling something and then eating something after you smell it, there's an entire study done on that, of how if you smell something after you taste it, the entire flavor of what you're smelling can change.
Yeah, so to begin with, I'm more of a pastry chef, and Anushka is more of a chef doing savory things. So that's why, I mean, in our duo, we have that things like same, you know, I'm going to show you the organization of the thing. We divide things in responsibilities. So that's how a team can work. So I'm going to talk about the architecture of desserts and architecture of food in general, on how can you create your own things, how can you create your own dishes,